Hi, welcome to Ashuna's Tarot. I went ahead and pre-shuffled and laid out the spread. And so, yes, I actually read your guys' comments about the volume. I tried a few things. Hopefully that is fixed. Please let me know if it's not, so I can kind of figure something out, but it should be fixed now. So yeah, if you have ordered a private reading, those are all being sent out tonight and tomorrow morning, so please check your inbox for those, okay? If you would like a private reading, all the information is in the description box below if you would like to order a private reading. So everything's under the same email, ashunastarot@gmail.com. So let's go ahead and get started, Pisces. 7 of Cups is the general energy, okay? Followed by the Sun, the 10 of Swords, 6 of Swords, 9 of Swords, the Hierophant, the Star, Death and Rebirth, and then the 4 of Pentacles. So with the 7 of Cups, okay, this is the energy that I'm getting like underhandedly, okay? Like this could have very well been the energy playing out in like the background of like the last few days or like the last few weeks of how everything unfolded. Just kind of like a lot of options on the table. You know how sometimes people like struggled, like they're like, okay, well, I have no options. It's like for you, I think it was the opposite. I think there was like a lot of overwhelming energy coming in because it's like you could really take it in any direction, okay? And so this could have been in regards to business, into connections, to love, like whatever this was. It just feels like there was a lot on the table these last couple of days, or like these last couple of, like maybe for some of you, last couple of weeks. It just feels like there was a lot of like different energies on the table, and just like a lot of things that you kind of had to work through, like energy wise. And of course there's some snakes, some bats, some ladders in there, so it's like not the easiest way to go about it. And it's like you might have tried to postpone this time, but it's like eventually you knew you would have to kind of like work through it. And no matter the way that this unfolded, it was like no matter how it played out, like you having to face it, you having to work through it, was going to bring the sun, was going to bring happiness. But I'm not sure if this is like attached to like past baggage or past situations that you've been through, but even this being like a cups energy, it feels a lot like swords. And then we have 10 of swords, 6 of swords, 9 of swords, okay? So it feels like it, like on a mental level, maybe had some kind of like effect on you to where it might have like destabilized your energy, or something along those lines. But whatever decisions that you've been trying to make, like the energy that you've had to kind of like work through is just kind of like a lot of options on the table. It's just kind of messy. It's just kind of all over the place. You're at the same time dealing with a lot of endings, a lot of transitions, a lot of just like maybe even anxieties that just like it just happens behind closed doors. Like a lot of the mental noise, a lot of the anxieties that kind of like get triggered by your past experiences. Because again, Ten of Swords is a lot of like goodbyes. It's a lot of walking away from relationships, work connections, environments, like certain things like in your life, like the end of that, like the end of so many things, like a big ending in so many areas of your life. And then Six of Swords having to transition from whatever this was to like a new phase in your life. And again, the entire journey being very mentally draining, like very mentally challenging, in the fact of like anxiety, sleepless nights, maybe a lot of mental noise, maybe trying to process through it through the entire transformation from a very mental place. And so yeah, it just feels like a lot of like whatever this energy was in your life, it just feels like a lot to handle. And this feels more general because this energy for some people can be in regards to work, in regards to money. To other people, it can be in regards to their spiritual awakening. To some people, in regards to relationships. So again, this is more general. If you would like a personal, that would be like specific to your energy. But what I'm getting from this energy is like no matter what this dynamic was in your life or is in your life, it has like a major, like it plays a major role in your spiritual lessons and your spiritual awakening. So the way that you've maneuvered your way in this instability or in this uncertainty, the way that you've handled these endings, the way that you've handled these transitions, the way that you handled the anxieties, because it's not to say that people don't go through these things. People do go through these things, but how do they handle them? And I believe that like the way that spirit is showing me this is like it's directly tied to whatever spiritual lesson this is with the Hierophant. Is like through you trying to achieve your dream and your purpose, your calling, it's like you've had to go through all these endings. You had to go through all these transitions, through all these goodbyes. And if you've had it really rough the past few months, it's like It's for a reason, and it's for the star, okay? It's not just for anything. It's not in vain. It's for the star. Like, there's something that you're getting really close to, and that, like, again, I'm not even sure. Like, look at the difference in these, like, the color on these cards is so magical, right? So whimsical. And then look how dead it is, right? It's like all these endings, all these transitions, all these gloomy energies. So it's like going from these very dual, gloomy colors into these light, magical colors because of this death and rebirth process. So what I'm getting with this card is like so many aspects of you and so many aspects of your life had to die. And it's like you didn't understand why things were ending all of a sudden. Like things would just begin and all of a sudden they'd be ending all over again. It's like this entire time you're being taken to the star. Like you're reeling the star in and you yourself are aligning yourself to the star. But that process, again, doesn't look very pretty. It's the death and the rebirth. It's all these swords. It's the 10 of swords, 6 of swords, 9 of swords. And the rebirth, the Hierophant, the realization of like, okay, all those endings have brought me closer to being aligned with this manifestation. And so with the Four of Pentacles being the only Earth card in the entire reading is like, there's still a need to let go because there might be some like material or like 3D like limiting beliefs that have created more resistance in this process, because this process is happening no matter what. It's like you prayed upon this star, you asked for these manifestations, and there's an entire spiritual journey that is just like all over the place. Instead of like from point A to point B to point C to point, it's like this entire like messy zigzagging to even get you to the star. Is like it requires all these transformations. It requires this entire process. And for you to also make it easier on yourself and not hold on so strongly to past people, past connections, past places and things. Because no matter who ends up staying, like no matter who's by your side at the end of it all, it's like this is your end goal, okay? This is your destination. It's the star. This is where you're headed and you're very close. And that's the Hierophant. That's the realization, okay? This is very close by, and these magical cards are so close to these gloomy cards. So whatever gloominess, whatever cycle of death and rebirth you had to go through, it's like now you're on the other side of it where you get to experience and live in the rebirth and not just the death, right? Why is the death and the rebirth process so hard? The death is the hardest part, right? It's like that unfamiliarity and being torn apart from the things that we have become accustomed to. And then that rebirth is just like that new you, like feeling your best self, looking your best self, never knowing that it could have been this good, but only knowing it once you're there, right? And so for this long period of time, I feel like you've been more in the death of the process and not necessarily recognizing that at the other side of the death is the rebirth and getting to live in that rebirth. Again, the star, the Hierophant, and the sun. You have the happiest cards in the deck. And so that season is coming in, Pisces. And so whatever this undecisiveness or this like hot and cold or all these underhanded energies or all this energetic mess on the table is like it's leading you somewhere. So don't think that you've like lost your way or anything like that. It's like you're very close to this Hierophant moment, where you will transition from living in the death to living in the rebirth of this process here. It's actually really interesting, Pisces. Is all I have. If you would like a personal reading, the information is in the description box below. For the ones that ordered their private reading, those are being uploaded tonight and tomorrow. So please check your inbox for those. Blessings, Pisces. Take care.